Why is the future bright? We are only 3 points out of the playoffs this morning. We've got a couple people hurt. But I want to tell you what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And go back and think about your children at 18, 19, 21, 23. But then I want you to put a couple $1 million in their pocket. And a lot of free time, okay? And a lot of free time. It actually helps us when these guys get married and have kids. Because then I can go to sleep a little earlier. The kids that are going to be the future of this franchise, if you're down there 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now, Sergei Bobrovsky, the goalie, won the Vezina Trophy last year as the best goalie in the league. He just turned 25 in the last couple months. Cam Atkinson's 24, Matt Calvert's 23. Timmy Erickson's 22, Ryan Johansson, who's had a wonderful first couple months this season, just turned 21. Boone Jenner's 20, Ryan Murray's 20. We have $30, $40 million invested in a bunch of kids that, otherwise you'd see working at Giant Eagle bagging your groceries, all right? That's how old they look. The pressure on them from our office and from you as fans and from the media is daily. Think about your kid going around every morning and after they practice at whatever it is they do, they get interviewed. And having the poise to do that. Being expected to be on the road 6 months, or 50% of the time for 6 months, and after you practice in these away cities, there's nothing to do. We don't want them in the bar. They have no interest in going to the museum. They've seen every movie on earth. And so they're stuck in hotel rooms in Los Angeles, in Phoenix, in Minnesota, where your and my kids go down and see their buddies or their girlfriends and they're at Chipotle. So this is a different world, and it gets much, much harder if you're European, okay? Pretend that we gave one of your children $1 million and great hockey talent, but we sent you to Moscow to play. And you can't go to the grocery store because you don't speak the language. The television doesn't mean anything to you because you don't speak the language. You can't find a doctor when you're sick, and you can't even talk to the young ladies because you don't speak the language. That's what happens when young Europeans come to the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Detroit Red Wings or the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we spend a lot of time as an executive staff trying to nurture. And we have people our age in the arena district taking the kids in on Sunday night for a bowl of soup. I mean, it's just that to get them a little sense of grounding, because otherwise they're a bit adrift. One of the smartest things we ever did in the early years when Rick Nash was here, if you remember, Rick hooked up with Simon Fraser, one of the better Buckeye players, and they became buds. And all of a sudden, Rick at 18 had a close friend here in Columbus, Ohio, to take him everywhere. It made a world of difference. Made a world of difference. So that's some of the challenge. We think these kids can play. The best compliment we've been paid about the players over the last couple months, Bob McKenzie is the #1 writer in Canada about all things hockey. And if you do the math with 30 teams, then if there are 4 rounds in the draft, 120 people get chosen. 4 times 30, 120. Bob McKenzie told us that the kids we picked this past summer, that 5 of them were in his top 50 when they should have been in the top 150 because everybody gets to pick. And our 6th kid, he said, was in his top 90. So this is the #1 writer in Canada telling us that we, it's easy to tell ourselves the future is bright. This is him telling us the future is bright. So we think we're headed in the right direction. Everyone got all excited last year. We had a very successful March and April. We missed the playoffs by this much, and it hasn't gone so well the last 30 days. That's in the process of being fixed. We don't have the depth yet to make up for injuries. To give you some, sort of facts that will maybe help explain this. The difference in television contracts in Toronto versus Columbus. The Toronto Maple Leafs take home $100 million more per year in TV money than the Columbus Blue Jackets do. That's what we're trying to compete with. Even the Pittsburgh Penguins take home another 15, 20, 25 million than we do. They can't spend it all on the players because there's a cap, but it affects your scouting, your video, your travel, how many coaches, your medical team, etc., etc., etc. And this thing, the Columbus Blue Jackets, it basically exists through the generosity of John McConnell and Nationwide Insurance. I mean, this is their money going in the till every year to pay the players. So we fight those differences. And to give you a sense of perspective, and you know, I was fortunate enough to go to undergrad here, and we've been in town 30-some years now. Everyone wants us to be the Buckeyes overnight. The Buckeyes are the New York Yankees of college sport. They in Texas have the biggest budget. I'm a proud alum, but they should win. You should be upset with the Buckeyes when they don't. But the mentality that casts for the Crew and the Blue Jackets is USOB's lost 20 games, and one of them I was there. And you're all mad about that, okay? If we go 45 and 35, we've had a hell of a year, okay? It's just like the Reds, it's just like the Indians, it's like the Cavs. And that's more the strata that you have to put us on. Challenged budgets. There's only 1.1, 1.2 million people in Central Ohio to come to hockey games. When the LA Kings were in the finals 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they estimated 20 million people within driving distance of the LA Kings arena in downtown Los Angeles. The Kings felt that via email, Twitter, social media, radio, TV, that when they won the title, they felt they had touched 2 million of those people. And everybody in that 2 million either came to a game, listened to a game, bought a ball cap. They had more people coming to the championship than we have that live here, okay? To give you a sense of perspective. So that's what we're up against.